So starting off with our project, in my project has the, let's start with the texture file. So basically texture file holds the texture, and which we, in the constructor, we call it from the load it from the TGA or the DDS file as per the requirement. And then it creates the resource view, fill up the sampler descriptions, and then create the sampler state. And inside the context, it sets the sampler to the pixel shader. And in the I'm sorry. And then we have a model class, where in the model class we pass on the vertices and the triangles, and it creates the triangles and everything, and then it just calls a private method that pushes all the data to the GPU buffers that are for the vertices and the index. We have the pre-made models for the unit books and stuff. So here is the one where you just call the constructor, and it will call up the files and create the model as per the requirement from the model tool files. According to the model, we also have the skybox that creates itself inside out, and then we just call the new model as a render first. Same goes with the terrain. The terrain takes in the height map, and it maps the height of the terrain as per the get image like pixel. So basically the height over here is set by the pixel. We have the graphic object setup. So basically you just have to create the texture, the models, and then push those into the graphic object, and that will be taken care of all the rest. So in the graphic object, so we have the world and the material saved in here, and it sends the world metrics and the material to the graphics shader. So basically in the shader class, so we have the shader class that takes care of the input layout and creates the buffer for the projections and basically everything that you use with the shader. It creates the buffers. Then shader class itself takes care of sending the projection and the view matrices. So you don't have to send each time new, or you don't have to take care of that in the render process. Once you're just using the shader texture, it just takes care of itself, and you just have to push your world matrix of the object and call the render. So, and the base class constructor calls and sets all the other methods that we need, such as for the vertex shader and the pixel shader is created, and input layout, everything is created by the base class, and the special things that we need to take care of is done by the shader texture class. For this example, this class handles the lights and textures too. So basically you have to create the buffers for the light parameters, and we use fog in this one, so it sets the buffer for the fog, projection buffer, light parameters, everything. And so that is when the main object, when we create the graphic object, we just pass in the shader and the model. So basically when you pass the shader and the models, it saves up the information in there. So basically when this method is called, you just have to set it, and then you create the world matrix for that object, set the world matrix and the material of the graphic object, and then in the draw scene you just have to set it to the context, set the view matrix and the projection matrix just once, and that's it. You just say graphic object to one render, graphic object to render, graphic object to render, and it takes care of itself. The render function itself sets the it sends the material and the world to the graphic card, and the shader it sets the current texture that we need into the pixel shader sets the sample resources, and then it calls the render of the model, and the model and the render function of the model take care of the creating the vertex buffers and everything. Now going to the light part, how to handle the lights and everything. Basically, we just pass the direction parameters like the HLSL file. So over here it is the HLSL file for the lights, and we use the Phong models, and so basically you need the structure for the everything, and in the constant purpose just you need to define what lights you're going to use. For example, in this I'm using 3 spotlights, so I have 3 spotlights over here, 1 point light and 1 directional light. And then while considering it and while going through the pixel shader, you have to calculate the spotlight twice, because using the 3 spotlights, and every time you pass on the different spotlight values over here, and it will take care of the ambient, and then you use it over here. While going on for the fog, you fetch off all the values from the buffers that you stored in your base class, and just use that information and apply your LURP over here and return the lit color. So that's it, I guess. So going on through the scene, in the scene there's a space widget, and there's a spotlight on the space widget from this side, so you can see that there's a light on here, but when you go down there it's dark, and the object moving around is also have the spotlight on it moving around. You won't be seeing much difference on this side because there's a directional light applied on this one, but when you see over here, when the light's going on through it, you can see it's lighting this part, and when it goes away it's dark. So basically, and this is the skybox where you can have the feel that it's in galaxy, but it's just an box wrapped around with the texture inside out. And in the fog effect, I have set it to the black, so this works, and we see from this side. Then when you zoom in, and it doesn't work this way because it's quite difficult to set the color for the fog when there's a skybox and everything is implemented. For the creation of the model from the file, we have a function that takes in the file path, and we take in the file path, and then just opens the file handler and goes through the all the data, just reads all the data and dumps that into the vertices that we need. And when you call the model.render, it just goes through, it creates like sets the vertex buffer and index buffer, sets in the index buffer, and then in the context, and then just draws all the index